Hi there, a very warm welcome to BNSN, the stock game. It's a brand new week and of course a brand new game on BNSN, the stock game. I'm Kamya Verma.
And I'm Megha Chad, and as Kamya said, we've got a brand new week and that means we've got three brand new experts right here with us. But before we go to the experts, let's tell you what BNSN, the stock game is all about. Before that, we've got, of course, the Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services management addressing the media on the results. Let's cut across.
And we had a disbursement growth also of around 38% for this quarter. And on an overall 9-month basis, our profits have been close to 28% plus. And the disbursements have actually crossed 14,000 and the balance sheet size is now close to 20,000 crore asset under management. We've also been able to curtail our NPAs at the levels that we were in even in the previous quarters. Our gross NPA numbers are 4% and our net NPA numbers are 1%. And given the buoyancy in the rural that we continue to witness, we believe we've been benefited by what's happening in that geography. We broad-based our product mix. Currently about 48 to 50% of our balance sheet comes from the Mahindra retail assets and the other 50% actually comes from cars, construction equipment, commercial vehicle and second-hand vehicle. So in a way, the balance sheet has undergone correction in terms of product mix is concerned, and we believe that a product mix change coupled with therefore profile of customer change which happens due to product mix change and our ability to reach deeper geography even in much more locations have all contributed to not just the disbursement growth, it's helped us increase our income, it also helped us maintain our quality. We have currently 592 branches as against 545 branches that we were March, and we expect that as we close the year, we would be close to 600 branches. We continue to believe that the market is buoyant out there. The demand for product that we are participating in seems to be doing well. The cash flows continue to be attractive. The collections therefore have kept pace. And we've always said it in the past that the second half of the year normally for the semi-urban rural market is much better than the first half. We've seen that in the third quarter and we expect the last quarter with harvest, the rains being declared above average. The harvest is expected to be good. The wedding season is going on well and we therefore continue to believe that an enabler like us who built 600 branches across the country will continue to get the benefit. The cost has been a little high, the borrowing cost has been high, the back of the announcements that RBI made all through the year. Substantial portion of it has been passed on to customers, but we believe that again all costs always cannot be passed on to customer and therefore look at our overheads have come down, our NPA provisions have come down. That has helped us retain our return on asset levels, while at the net interest margin levels we have seen some compression because we have not been able to pass on the cost. But from here on we believe that the interest is likely to stable and then possibly go down from here on, and that would help a balance sheet like ours where we have a fixed rate lending on the asset side. As otherwise, overall, we are very happy and comfortable to believe that the balance sheet has substantially grown, our reach has grown, product mix has grown, our profits have been much higher than what we thought as the beginning of the year when the interest cost was going up, and therefore we believe that we have kept pace with what's happening in the rural market. Thank you.
So on the asset quality front, you have seen a marginal increase. On the other hand, आपका जो provisioning coverage ratio है उसमें थोड़ी सी कमी देखने को मिली है. So how does that?
See, typically if you take a 12-month period, we have done about 3 lakh contracts, and this business there will be some NPA which will come in. So what happens is when you have a high provision asset which go out because either you have repossessed the vehicle or you have recovered the money, obviously therefore the provision levels come down because high value provision items have gone up.
Okay, so that was the Managing Director of Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services, Ramesh Iyer, reiterating the key drivers for this quarter this time around. So do remember, we'd seen profits rising for about 28% for the company on a consolidated basis. Besides that, we had revenue growth coming in at about 42%. And the company was talking about how they've seen some bit of pressure come in as far as the net interest margins are concerned. But nevertheless, they're expecting the future quarters to do much better from here onwards. But let's go right back to our game. And in fact, we were just telling you how exactly and what are the rules by which we play the game. So what happens is we have 3 experts who join us every week and they're given a notional amount of 5 lakh rupees. and they have to invest this amount across 4 stocks. Every day, they must have 2 stocks which are compulsorily churned, and besides that, if any of the stocks hit the target or the stop losses, they also have to be churned. So inevitably, what happens in a very volatile market, that we do have new picks coming in from our experts every day. And we calculate the profits and losses on a daily basis, and the final winner is of course declared based on the consolidated profits that they have made from Monday up until Friday, and we declare the winner of BNSN the stock game on closing trades at 3:30 p.m. on Friday. So for this week, we've got 3 new experts with us, and let's introduce them and go across to them as well. We've got Ashish Kapoor joining in just a short while from now. Besides that, we've got Shrikant Chauhan, who's joining in from Kotak Investment. He's joining us right here on in our studio, and besides that, Sanjeev Agarwal is also here with us. Gentlemen, morning. Good to have you with us. Shrikant, I'll begin with you. If you could take us through what you've got for our viewers on day 1 of the game.
Good morning. See, this market have reached to their important levels, and we have retraced almost 80% of the entire rally that we have seen, or we can say the fall that we have seen from 5,100 to say like 4,500. So we are at very crucial, important resistance level, and that is, and also because we are very next to the credit policy a day, we should be very much careful while adding any long position at these levels. That is why we are focusing more on index, non-index stocks, and that is why we are looking for mid-cap stocks like IGL, Bharat Forge, out of say like pharma stocks, Natco Pharma, and out of FMCG, Godrej Consumer. These are the 4 picks to look for ahead of credit policy.
All right, so all buy calls coming in from Shrikant. But Sanjeev, what do you have in your portfolio today?
Well, basically what we have seen, the market is going to be very stock specific. There are so many stocks which are showing positive bias, and some of the stocks are into profit booking mode. So we have seen a balanced portfolio, where the market is looking positive, particularly for the banking policy tomorrow. For the credit policy, so we have chosen Axis Bank and IDFC for a buy, and there are 2 stocks particularly for selling: Reliance on the back of poor results, and generally the people have been expecting a buyback, and it's always a buy on rumor, sell on news kind of a story. So Reliance was a clear sell, and Mahindra & Mahindra has given on an intraday chart head and shoulders patterns, and it is right now on a pullback mode till 670. So we can sell up to 670 this stock, and we are bound to get somewhere around 630, 640 levels soon. So this is a portfolio which I feel is quite a balanced portfolio for an investor to look forward a reasonable gains.
Okay, so Sanjeev's got an evenly divided portfolio for us for today. 2 buy calls, 2 sell calls, and it's a very similar strategy that Ashish in fact has also adopted. So let's take you through his picks for the day. He's got a sell call on a Reliance Industries Jan futures with a target of 750 rupees. A JSW Steel is also what he's liked on the short side, but on the long side, it's mid-caps making an appearance. So Exide Industries, he's gone long on, and with a target of 134 rupees. Besides that, an Opto Circuits is also making an appearance on the long side. So let's take you through the calculator plates as they stand right now to tell you how each of our experts is doing. Ashish's portfolio first. All the 4 counters in the green right now. None of the targets or the stop losses have yet been hit. So we've got him making close to 19,000 rupees. 3.8% is what he's making in just the first 2 hours of trading. Shrikant, on the other hand, quite a bit of pain coming in. So barring a Godrej Consumer where he's hit the target, all the other counters in the red, and IGL has been stopped out for the day, and his portfolio is marginally in the green right now, just about 0.08% higher. Sanjeev, on the other hand, he's hit the target on an Axis Bank. But besides that, we've got an IDFC, Mahindra & Mahindra, causing a fair bit of trouble for him. Overall, he's making close to 7,000 rupees as we speak.
All right, and time now to discuss individual stocks and the rationale behind each of them. Let's first start off by Shrikant Chauhan's pick, which is a buy call on Natco Pharma with a target of 285 and a stop loss of 262. Shrikant, now the stock did gain about 2% on Friday, but very flat trading going for today. What direction do you estimate it will take from here on?
I think out of every pharma stocks we have seen a good amount of recovery from lower levels like Ranbaxy or Dr. Reddy. They are continuously holding at support levels, and again they have started moving upward. So in my sense, I think overall pharma pack can do well in the near term, and especially Natco Pharma, which is very near to its important level of 277, 283, which was its previous highest level. If we go through with the overall pattern of last say 2 months, then we have seen a good amount of activity between the range of 200 and say 280, and after correcting to the level of 245, 250, now again the stock is near to its breakout level of 280. So in my sense, I think if it breaks this 285, 286 levels, then we can even see the levels of 320, 330 on the higher side. But the way it closed on Friday, I am of the view that from here we can expect minimum 285 on the high side, and we can trade this with a stop loss at 262. Even the volumes are also not as encouraging as it was in the rally of select 200 to select 280. But even when we have seen the fall, there was no as such any big volume. So I think the stock is still into that strong hands, and we can see the levels of 285 minimum on the high side and maximum 330 in next say few weeks.
Okay, so that's a word on a Natco Pharma, a counter which has gained close to 13% in the last month. 285 is the immediate target, and if that's broken, 320 to 330 also cannot be ruled out. Talk about the oil and gas heavyweight Reliance Industries next, which Sanjeev has decided to short for the day. Sanjeev, given this sort of dismal performance we saw in the December quarter, there are no surprises there that you've gone short on this name. But what are you really taking away from that buyback news as well?
See, as you see in a buyback, they are going to buy maximum somewhere around for the price of say 870, and that's what the market was expecting, 850 to 900, and so there's no positive surprise on that side. Even in the quantum of a buy, the market was expecting somewhere around 12,000 crores, so there are some 10,440 crores is around that level. So I don't think there's going to be any positive news, and this is just an enabling kind of a resolution, and they will buy back up to 870 price, not at this price, and there's not going to be any open offer. They are going to buy from the market. So there is going to be a buy. There may be some short-term supports in the short term on a lower levels, but I don't think company is going to go buy aggressively on a higher side. See, if they are getting the stock somewhere around 700, why will they go and buy it around 850 or 870? So the whole idea is that they are going to support the stock from a further fall, but I don't think it is going to be a very positive news for the bulls. Apart from that, their results have been very, very disappointing in the sense their gross refining margins have come down very sharply. The margins have come down, and the results were way below the expectation of the street. Though their sales were higher than the estimates, their results were worse. That is showing the declining margins, and seeing that lots of negativity around their production targets in the gas in D6 block. I think Reliance is going to underperform the market in the short term.
Right, Sanjeev. All right, so let's welcome Ashish Kapoor, who's the CEO of Invest Shop India at this juncture. He also joins us. A very good morning, Ashish. We were just discussing RIL January futures. Sanjeev has a sell call on that one, and so do you. Now, the company has reported a drop in quarterly profit for the first time in 2 years. Also, the buyback news coming in. What are the other factors because of which you've given a sell call on this one?
Well, broadly, these are the factors. I think, firstly, the stock had gone up a lot last week on expectation of a very generous buyback. So there is clearly some disappointment, although the buyback is certainly positive because that will put a kind of a floor on the market price. But the expectation of the buyback, both in terms of quantity of purchase as well as the price, was a bit higher. So firstly, there's some disappointment on the buyback, and secondly, results, though nobody was expecting good results, the results were expected to be bad, but they are worse than what the street was expecting. So both on the count of results as well as the quantum and the price of buyback, we feel that Reliance could be under pressure for a couple of days. Having said that, I think since now the floor of this stock is more or less capped, I think it presents a fairly good buying opportunity for long-term investors. But for a trading perspective, I think if you're trading with a very short-term, very near-term, maybe a day or two kind of perspective, then clearly it's a shorting idea. And for the day, we have done that exactly, and with the stop loss at 808 and a target at 750.
Okay, so things not looking too great for Reliance Industries for the near term at least, but on the long term basis, this is probably a good time to nibble into the counter. Let's also address then some news that's coming in on Larsen & Toubro's Hyderabad Metro Rail project. We've got news coming in that the company may be considering taking up a loan for that particular unit. In fact, they're looking at raising a loan of up to about 3,587 crore rupees for the Hyderabad Metro. Do remember that this is one project that has been stalled for the longest time, awaiting a lot of approvals. Right now, ahead of the results, the counter looking weak, lower by about 2.5%. Talk about each of our experts' second pick for the day then. Srikanth, who's decided to go long on a Godrej consumer. You know, given the good results that we had come in, Srikanth, over the weekend, that was of course a big factor. Then besides that, you know, the fact that Temasek has bought into the company has also provided quite a boost this morning. In fact, 440 was the highest point of the day. Do you wish that you'd put out a higher target for the name?
Absolutely. So like this particular stock is still into that strong momentum, and it was like into that consolidation phase of say like 350 and 470 on the higher side. But the way it recovered today, and it has broken the level of say like 430. In case say like today, if it able to close above 430 on a closing basis, then certainly it will even break the level of 440, and we can see the highest levels of 470 in the near term. If you go through with the long-term charts on say like weekly as well as on monthly charts, then I'm very much sure that the stock can even go to the levels of 550, 560 in next couple of months. Even if we consider this particular chart with say like GlaxoSmithKline, then there also the moment it's sideways and consolidating, and is also ready for the next breakout, which maybe even lift the stock to the levels of maybe 3,000, 3,200 in next couple of months. So net this particular pack is showing a lot of strength, and even at current levels, the stock is very strong bet to add for.
All right, so good going for Godrej consumers. In fact, the target that Srikanth had set out for has already been achieved. Sanjeev, let's discuss your buy call on Axis Bank. Now, the stock is on an upswing. In fact, even your target has been met. It gained about 7% in last two trading sessions, backed by a good set of numbers. How much more of an upside to go?
Yeah, if you see, Axis Bank had given a breakout only yesterday. And like if you're seeing there, I think the stock can easily achieve 1100 sort of a mark. But for an intraday perspective, 1030 was a some kind of resistance was there. So we tried to book it just below that. Overall, this stock, like as long as it stays above 980 levels, this is going to give a good momentum on the upside. And particularly, all the bank stocks are recovering very, very smartly after a good drubbing in the last month, on the back of some expectations in a credit policy, maybe some CRR cut or some rate cut. That may happen if there is any kind of some kind of a negative news or a disappointment on the basis of heightened expectations. There might be some corrections towards 1000, and which can be a buying opportunity again for the people who are looking at that. And below 980, one can keep a stop loss, because if there is a disappointment and there is going to be a larger amount of selling, then one can exit with a smaller stop loss and look for a higher targets. Overall, banks are looking quite smart, and if you see today also, it is banks which are holding the Nifty on a positive side, or even on the I'll say it's a more of a sideways,
right,
where there are lots of weak stocks, something like Reliance, which is weighing down, but
sure,
these banks are keeping Nifty afloat.
Sure. Okay, so it's the banking counters which are driving the Nifty high as well this morning, and an Axis Bank also on a very strong footing. Talk about a JSW Steel next. Ashish, given the dismal performance, especially largely due to those forex losses, a short call there, it seems prime at this point in time. But what can we expect in the next 3 to 6 months for the counter?
Well, I think the counter would remain under pressure and it should underperform the other steel majors, mainly because, though there has been some relief from the Supreme Court on the mining ban in Karnataka, that is a positive for the company. But the results clearly point out that there is huge pressure on their margins and the company has delivered a very disappointing set of numbers. With the kind of debt which they are carrying, I think they would, compared to especially other players like Tata Steel and SAIL, this company would continue to remain under pressure for some time. So I would think that clearly it's an avoid, and for a very short term perspective, it's even a short sell, and that's exactly what we have done with a target at 622 and a stop loss at 660.
So target of 622 is what you can expect on a JSW Steel after losing close to 3% on Friday. Today as well, it's lower by about 2%. Let's take you through the calculator plates then and tell you how each of them is doing right now. We've got Opto Circuits, which is causing a spot of trouble for Ashish now after being in the green, but nevertheless, he's holding on to that lead of about 17,000 rupees, higher by close to 3%. Shrikant, on the other hand, a Godrej Consumer, that's the target that's already been achieved. And Indraprasth Gas has been stopped out, and the other two counters also in the red. And his portfolio is just about marginally in the green right now, higher by about 400 odd rupees. Sanjeev, on the other hand, a call on Axis Bank, a long call there, has hit the target. And IDFC as well as Mahindra & Mahindra are a spot of trouble for him, and he is making close to 6,600 rupees. So as things stand right now, we've got Ashish, Sanjeev in the second place, followed by Shrikant. But of course, we've got 4 more days to go through.
Alright, now we've already discussed the first 2 picks of each of our experts. After the break, we'll be discussing pick 3 and 4. Time now for a short break on BNSN Stock Game. But ET Now welcomes you to participate in the one-stop shop, that is the Buy Now, Sell Now game for all your stock-related queries. So write into us with all your queries and suggestions at bnsn@etnow.tv. You can also SMS BNSN followed by your name and your query to us at 58888. You can also call us at 0222 483 7111. BNSN also gives you the chance to get expert advice to recheck your portfolio by market experts every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. All you have to do is email your existing portfolio with your query at bnsn@etnow.tv and we'll have the experts give their recommendations on the same. Welcome back to BNSN The Stock Game. Let's continue with asking our experts about their picks, and let's go across to Shrikant Chauhan, who has a buy call on IGL with a target of 332 and a stop loss of 308. Shrikant, the stock lost about 5% last week. In fact, even today, it's very flat going for this one. Are you expecting some bit of recovery coming in?
I think the way the stock has fallen from its highest level of 440, 450, and now the way it is again consolidating towards, I can say, the important support area of 330 to select 310. The volumes are also continuously into that expanding mode, and unfortunately I triggered the level of 308 early in the morning only. But if we go through with the pattern on, say, like even on intraday charts, on daily charts, I think the stock is very close to its important support area. The volumes are there, and in case, say, like today, if it breaks the day's highest level of, say, like 320, 322 on the higher side, then we can see the levels of 335 and 350 in next few days. Even if we compare this with Gujarat Gas or, say, like Gas Authority, then there also we have seen lot amount of selling in last, say, like few weeks, but now they are available at their important support levels. So from here, certainly if there is, say, like medium to long term view, then we can look for all these stocks with a target of, say, like 10 to 15% on the higher side from current levels.
Okay, so that's a word on an Indraprasth Gas. A target of 332 is what you can expect. Do keep a stop loss of 308, which has been triggered for Shrikant today, unfortunately. Talk about an IDFC next, which has grand fundraising plans, Sanjeev, and you like the stock and you're expecting a target of closer to 124.
Yeah, this stock was showing very good patterns, and in fact we are holding this stock from the level of 95, and still we are holding that. This stock has a bit of resistance around 124 and 129. They are the basic band where it has a resistance. So initially this stock performed well, and after opening it went just shy of our target of somewhere around 123.25. It had reached just around 65 paisa lower than our target. Overall, this market, this stock, we are expecting it to do well. There's some kind of profit booking happening today because there has been a very strong run up. But I thought this stock is going to achieve a target, but just missed it. Overall, I'm still bullish on that thing. But overall, keep a stop loss just below 118 will do the trick.
All right. The stock today trending downwards by about 1%. Ashish, let's discuss Excite, because you have a buy call on that one. The stock is up in trade today, up by about 1%. But what are the factors that are auguring well for this stock?
Well, Excite clearly is a great stock to buy at this price. Company has done quite well, in fact beaten street expectations, and going ahead we expect good times to continue, because clearly the company is likely to have a very good growth trajectory going forward on the back of the expansion which they are undergoing, also the distribution network which they are augmenting, and a very strong brand which they have in the replacement market. Now, although the last couple of months the automobile sales have shown a sluggish trend, but the battery sales usually have a 3-year lag, because that's when the replacement market starts. So right from 2007 till the third quarter of the present year, the sales of automobiles have been very robust. So which really means that the next couple of quarters, the demand for replacement batteries is really actually to pick up, and that should benefit Excite in a major way. Also in the non-automotive segment, they are doing quite well. They have taken advantage of the power shortage and have done very well in the inverter battery sales.
Sure.
So we quite like the company and quite like the management. I think it's a great stock to buy, and even from a trading perspective it's fairly good, and we have a target of 134 for the day with the stop loss at 122.
Sure. Okay, Ashish. So that's a word on an Excite, a good pick coming in, not just from a short-term period, but even a fundamentally it looks like a good counter to pick up on. Talk about the last pick then on each of our experts' portfolio. Shrikant, keeping with the auto-related counters, a Bharat Forge is what you've decided to go long on. 294 is the target that you're expecting.
I think auto ancillary stocks are really showing a lot of strength. The volumes are there, they are breaking their important levels. Like Excite has also broken its important level of 122, 123, and now it's moving towards the level of 130. Similarly, the Bharat Forge has also broken its important level at 260, 265. Now I think it is moving towards the level of 300 in the near term. So a lot of auto ancillary stocks are doing well, and even Bosch Limited, which is continuously moving towards the level of 8,000, and maybe in the near future we can even see the levels of 9,000, 9,500 on the higher side.
Right.
So net auto ancillary stock is doing well, and Bharat Forge, I think in the near term certainly we can see the levels of 290, 295 to taste.
Right. Sanjeev, you have a sell call on M&M with the target of 641. The stock is trading in the positive territory so far, but you expect a correction coming in?
Yeah, the stock has fallen yesterday, and that's where some kind of a correction is setting in, some kind of a pullback is coming in. Actually, the stock has given a break down on a head and shoulders pattern, and generally in a head and shoulders patterns you see a pullback towards the neckline, which is somewhere around 670. So the stock is pulling back, but all pullbacks toward 670, 672 is a very good selling opportunity for a target of around 640 to 630. For an intraday perspective, we have kept the stop loss above 75 and for a target of 641, and I think if the target is not achieved today, it may do so in next 2-3 days.
Okay, so things not looking that great for an M&M from a near-term perspective. That's as per Sanjeev. But let's talk about an Opto Circuits then, where Ashish, you've decided to go long, a target at 255, stop loss at 226.
And this company is a leader in various medical products which are used by hospitals and other healthcare establishments. The company has a very good presence, is supplying to hospitals across 150 different countries. And going ahead with the kind of penetration which they are achieving in various emerging markets, we expect the sales to continue growing at a very rapid pace, and the kind of growth trajectory which is going to come in the next couple of years, the stock appears undervalued, and of late their subsidiaries in various countries like US have achieved various milestones and good orders from leading hospitals around the world. So we are fairly confident from an investment point of view also, and I think with the market in kind of a pullback momentum, it's a good mid-cap to consider going long on, with a target at 255 and a stop loss at 226.
Okay, so that's a word on an Opto circuit. It's a bit soft in the session, currently low by about 0.7%. Nevertheless, 255 is probably what you can expect. Let's take it to the calculator plates then. Opto circuit's a spot of trouble, but overall the portfolio is making about 3.7% overall, standing on a gain of close to 19,000 rupees. Shrikant, on the other hand, we've got a Godrej Consumers where he's hit the target and IGL has been stopped out, but the portfolio just about in the green territory right now, making close to 766 rupees. Sanjeev Agarwal, on the other hand, we've got an Axis Bank, that's a target that he's hit, so that's making him close to 2%. Overall, we've got IDFC and M&M causing a spot of trouble, so 1.5% higher is where his portfolio is placed. With that, gentlemen, thanks very much for, of course, joining us today and taking us through your picks for today. But before we do that, let's just address that information that's coming in on Reliance Industries. The counter is lower by about 4%, and we've got news coming in that Supreme Court has said that Reliance Industries can charge between 2 to 4.5% VAT on gas in UP. So that's a positive for the company. So this was something that the Supreme Court was going to be taking up today. So it's allowed Reliance Industries to now charge about 2 to 4.5% of VAT on gas in Uttar Pradesh. With that, of course,
time now for a short break on BNSN, the stock game. But coming up on Buy Now, Sell Now, we get you an expert advice to rejig your portfolio by Jan'12.